Boom.
Boom.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judah Hoover. I am a realtor and a real estate investor. And this guy right over here is Josh Weidman. He is a hard money lender and a real estate investor. And we have a deal that we are working on and talking about. And we are going to be walking through updates. We talked about this property when we talked about how to be like a terrier and chase something until you can't chase it no more. We talked about this deal when we talked about coming up with creative ways to finance a deal. And we talked about this deal after we had closed on it. And then also when we've already walked this property once.
That's right.
And so we are going to walk it again today and talk about the updates that we have and what's going on. Josh, I am also we're crossing our fingers because number one, Josh is usually the one who steers the ship, and Judah Hoover is steering the ship here today. So hopefully we have some good results from that. Number two, thing to remember is that I've got a gaggle full of Hoover kids here doing work from home or school from home, and also doing lunch and all other kinds of craziness. So hopefully it doesn't end up too much like a barnyard. What do you think about that, Josh? I got my can you see I have my wait, I can't figure out how to do this. There we go. That's what I would do.
Listen, I'm impressed you got the word gaggle into the conversation within the first 2 minutes of the show. That in and of itself is a
quite the accomplishment. Josh, you froze on us. Are you still there? This is going to be a real short show without Josh Weidman.
Of course, I didn't put Do Not Disturb on my phone. Next time.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So I've got an issue with my mic. Give me 1 second here, and I think we're back on. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you fine. I was just saying to the audience that this is going to be a real short show if for whatever reason you drop off. So let's start walking. Yep, we can hear you just fine. So let's start walking the property.
One of the purposes of us. All right, there we go. All right, one of the purposes of us following this rehab, and I think it's a really important part of.
We are having technical difficulties with Josh Weidman, and that is troublesome. Let's see whether he comes back. There you go, buddy. Yep, I'm back, and you're here. We had a little bit of technical difficulties with you the last time.
You know, this is really so many problems. You know what, though? Forget it. We're just going to walk through, and hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me? All right, beautiful. Let's switch cameras here so that you can see the outside of the house. But as I was saying, what I think is the most important part of planning for your rehab is going to be actually having a process down. So in this property, you know, the process should always start with the demo. You want to make sure that, I mean, my steps start with demo, get the roof work taken care of, and then handle any kind of issues with impermeability. And this property, we've got windows that were ordered. That's our step one. Well, step two is framing. And that's what we got started on over the past week. I'm going to take you around here as we go in the front door.
All right, looks like we lost Josh. I'm trying to let's stick with this a little bit and see whether we can see whether he comes in or not. And if that stays frozen for too much longer, folks.
All right.
Yep.
Dude, sorry, man. All right, so we're back here with a layout of what the property is supposed to look like when we and the plan was set up. So we started with our framing. We now have a walkway down an aisle walkway down the side. We're about 80% done here with our framing. We're going to get more to this later, but we've got an opening that's going into our back addition that will be opened up, and we've opened up the brick on the other side. I'll get into that in a minute. But we've also opened up, this is going to be a laundry room, very big laundry room. So we call it a mud room, right? Judy, can you hear me? I can't hear you.
I know. I minimize myself so that your screen is taking up the whole thing. You're doing great, right, buddy. Keep on rocking and rolling.
Right. So there's a couple things that I want to go over here. For originally, we had planned to have this this place set up. Let's just do a quick walkthrough. So, all right, you come in the front door, and we've got this nice open entryway here. This archway is going to get closed up and drywalled, and then we walk down the hall. As we walk down the hall here, we had another archway that led to a gigantic bathroom, I don't know, large closet area. We've split this into two separate rooms. So if we walk in here, this is going to be one bathroom. We've cut open the floors to access the plumbing. And this is going to be our shared, call it kids bathroom, right? Or hall bathroom. So we go back here, we walk down the way, and we have a nice office right in here. You can see the windows are disappearing. This back wall is going to be framed in. So we're going to have a large open space here. We closed in the closet, and there's going to be two closets that are going to be built right here in the corners of the room. Additionally, we're preparing for the mechanical installations. That's electrical, plumbing, HVAC, by taking down a channel right down the center of the house. The crawl space is a small crawl space, or the attic crawl space area is pretty small. So we wanted to be able to access that without having to crawl up into that crawl space too much to run wiring and plumbing and ductwork. And that's just us being nice to our contractors, right? Our mechanical contractors. As we get to the end of the hallway, we got another one that goes straight back, but I'm going to peek into these bedrooms, and these bedrooms, as you can see, are huge. Now, we haven't done much in these rooms except take out this framing, and you can see that this area has been demoed. The plan here is to put a door to the hallway, and this is going to be our mechanical closet for our heating unit. And then the ductwork will go right up here into the ceiling and be run throughout the house. As we go back into the hallway here and move back, we've got another bedroom that's just as large right back here. And, you know, really nice sized bedrooms. This is 16.5 by 18. And then we move back into the back area of the property. Now, this is an addition that, Judah, if you recall, the last time we did this show, this was completely open. That was
completely open. You even took away the knee wall that was there because you said it didn't have a very good bottom or foundation type thing going on with it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So originally, what our plan is to have this area right in here end up being the master bedroom with a closet space right here. And as you can see, the back wall's been cut out. This will be open probably today, maybe tomorrow, into a master bathroom. And if we go back here, the plan is to have a 4-foot vanity, a built-in linen closet, and then over here you got your toilet and a stand-up shower that'll be sitting on the left-hand side. But this is a really nice size bathroom. It ends up being about 12 feet wide and 7 foot deep. So for a bathroom, that's pretty nice size. You've got the same size for the hall bath on the other side of the stud wall that we see right here that's been installed. Now, I got wires hanging all over the place in this house, and there's some demo work that still needs to be done, but hasn't been done because we needed to do some framing, and we're going to need to get the electrician in here to take some of these wires out. But as we come back here, what we realized, I got a comment from a friend of mine. He said, hey, listen, we got a problem. You got your whole living area on this side of the house, right? most of the living area is on this side of the property. Why wouldn't you put your master bedroom and flip-flop your master bedroom, right? So what we see here is this is going to be the entrance to the bedroom. We flip-flop things so that now the master bedroom is on the side that I'm standing on. You can see we've got a moisture barrier down and the beginnings of the subfloor to level out this floor. And this will continue all the way across the room. And then we'll have our framing go in here. But we've already added framing on the for the exterior wall. We've got windows that are in the other room, but we're waiting on scheduling the back roof installation because that is has just been holding us up. We've not installed that roof yet, mainly because I don't really, or I'm sorry, we haven't installed the windows yet, mainly because, look, I don't care how good the roofer is. I try to err on the side of caution. Look, if we got stuff being ripped off and thrown down from the roof and it bangs against some plywood, I don't really care. If it's banging against windows, that's a different story. But we've got this opened up. And we go back in here. What we're going to have is an open doorway that comes in right on the other side. And now this leads into our kitchen, living room, dining room area, as we can see here, running back the property line. This kitchen's going to be something else, Judah. I mean, it's gigantic. We've got 16.
Yeah, this is that massive. This is like that massive great room, kitchen, living room, dining room, all in one.
That's right.
A friend of mine lives in a converted firehouse in downtown Lancaster, and he has the same type of thing going on.
So if we go back here, all right, I'm going to take you into the garage now. The garage has been gutted and the framing hasn't been touched in here. This is going to be a family room. This heating unit is coming out. And we're going to have a huge family room in here. This window is going to become a door. It hasn't been cut out yet. But on our next update, we'll see, we'll see a lot of the mechanicals complete and, the framing 100%. One thing that has been a little bit of a challenge with this place is we've got some unconventional stuff going on. One item that we've got is you can see this stuff moving up into the attic space. This actually is connected to a solar hot water panel on the roof. And so relocating this and cutting this out, this is not something we wanted to have done by a layman just ripping things out. It ties into the heating
How did
unit.
you find, Josh, let's just back up here for just a second and dwell on this. I've seen those, the hot water pipes on people's ceiling, on people's roofs, and that type of solar system and everything like that. How did you find a contractor who was experienced in that and knew what the heck they were doing and was able to help you out there?
Sure. So that used to be a pretty difficult trade to find, right? It's kind of unique and people did it, but it wasn't all that common. What you see more and more though is there's a lot more contractors, plumbers, electricians, people that have experience with some of the new green technology, and that's either an add-on to their existing business or that's their core business at this point. And so it was a referral, frankly. I mean, my parents had the same thing on their roof. They recommended a contractor and they went out and the guy came out, took a look at it. He said, look, yeah, we can move this, get your framing done and decide where you want to go with the, where you want to hold these hot water heaters. And then it won't be an issue. And the interesting thing here is we don't really need those hot water heaters, but, or I'm not hot water heaters. We don't really need those solar panels for the hot water. They were designed to be used for the radiant heating system, and that's something we discussed on our last show. But since we're not going to maintain the heating system, the radiant heating system, and we're going to be transitioning to a forced air, we're just going to use it to heat the water. And if you know anything about hot water and energy use, and if you have an electric hot water heater, you're heating that water over and over and over and over again to maintain the temperature. So you heat it up, and then unless it's really well insulated, the temperature is going to start going down. So you got to constantly heat that. And it was just, it's an interesting add-on that should keep the energy costs fairly low in this place. One of the big challenges that we had here was really trying to get an idea of how to level this floor. And I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Jack Billmeyer, who is a carpenter and a builder here in Central PA. I brought him through here, and he said, look, the best way to do this is to actually frame your subfloor. And it's worked really well. I explained it to our carpenters, and they're doing a really nice job here. This is one day in and kind of feeling our way through it. But I think by the end of probably tomorrow, when they're back here, we ought to have this entire subfloor complete and installed. One of the big challenges with any rehab is that you're going to have changes. You're going to have things that pop up. For us, what we found is some termite damage. And I don't know if you've ever dealt with termites before, but it can be something as small as seeing these kind of, these kind of channels dug into the wood. And, one good way to test this type of thing and to see whether or not it's a real problem is to take a pen or a set of keys, right? And you stab right through it. Well, if you have a hard time getting a screwdriver or a key into the wood, it's topical damage and it's really not a problem. On the other hand, sometimes you got some real mess here, and you can see like this stuff is just a mess. And so this is the type of stuff that we're going to end up ripping out. It's not a lot.
Dude, that was a breadcrumb right there. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to get that on camera for YouTube people and other things like that. If you're paying attention, that right there was worth the price of admission. The difference between how easy it is to put a key in versus, and I see people doing that and they like kind of sort of get a flake off and they're like, oh no, look, I was able to use a key and get this little toothpick size thing off. No. Like it will crumble if it's an actual problem. Otherwise, it's just topical. Josh, that was so good. That could have been scripted better, my friend.
Love it. All right. One thing that I really want to touch on here. Once the framing's complete, we're going to bring in mechanical contractors to install your electric and plumbing. In a normal property, I'm going to flip my feet because I'm just kind of walking and staring at nothing here. But in a normal property where you have a basement and where you have, either a basement or a crawl space where you can access things from under the ground or under the floor, you can run a lot of your mechanicals in the basement and then up through the floor. We didn't have that. And so, yeah, we can run things in a crawl space, but you got to think about your contractors, because a lot of the pricing that you're going to get from your contractors is how difficult is this job really? There might be a standard price to rewire a completely gutted house where they can come in and run lines and the studs and things like that. But when you're doing a remodel, a lot of this is up in the air. And so by giving them access and saying, okay, you can run all your electrical home runs right in this spot, and it's really easy to access. And you can run your major trunk work for your ducts and your HVAC right in this area, or you can run your plumbing lines in this area. It's there to make their job easier, because ultimately, if it's not easy, I'm paying for it, right?
Yeah, so I was actually just having coffee the other day with somebody, and one of the things that we discussed is how they don't buy leads for their business, and they think that the reason that a lot of their other colleagues have problems with clients is because they buy leads, and therefore they're dealing with high headache, high hassle, high drama clients. And this person I know makes 2 times the amount of money as the average person in their field, working literally a tenth of the time, dealing with like 5% of the drama. And it's just because they only pick people to work with who they want to work with. And it's one of the guys who is a large multifamily investor and teaches in that space. His name is Dave Lindahl. One of the things that Dave Lindahl teaches people is be easy to do business with. And that goes in both directions. That's both when you're the service provider and also when you're buying from service providers. Because my dad is a small painting contractor. And we talk to him. I talk to him all the time. Just, I've been an entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur. Just, conversations come up. And he's like, yeah, I was doing this job and it was, this. And I gave them the don't want it price, but they still paid for it. So, like it's just a thing, the don't want it price. And you don't want to be the guy receiving the don't want it price from a contractor. Give them every excuse and every reason you can to keep that cost down. And that's one of the things you learn the more rehabs you do is also don't just make the job easy to do. Find a way to tell the contractor up front, here's the things I'm going to make this job easy to do. With all that considered, what's your price? Not what's your price. Oh, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this. So how much of a discount are you going to give me? Don't try to trap people. Don't try to trick people. Don't try to corner people or box them in. But say, hey, with all this considered, what kind of price could you give me?
That's exactly right. And make it easy for them. I mean, look, if you don't like crawling, when I was, I used to sell windows and siding in kitchens and bathrooms and things like that. And I had my own construction company, and this is 25 years ago, nearly at this point. 20. Anyway, I can remember selling a bathroom and bringing in my plumber and saying, look, I need to run a plumbing line from the center of the house to, hook it up to this stack and connect it here. He had to crawl through this crawl space, and it was like a 15-foot crawl space. Or I'm sorry, he had to crawl 15 feet in a 3-foot crawl space to connect a drain line that we were putting in to the main drain leaving the house. He charged me $5,000. The material on that job was maybe $400.
Right.
They spent a day and a half doing the actual installation. The reason he charged me $5,000 for the hookup was because it was a big pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And it was a hard place to work. And, it's hazard pay, essentially, and
I had the same thing. I had the same thing happen to me. I was doing a rehab on a 3-unit. And I told you it was Hoover Home Day. I had a 3-unit that I was working on, and the basement was only half basement. The rest was crawl space.
Yep.
And it was like a 2-foot crawl space. And because of some other things, like there was not a whole lot of room. Like lay down and think of like how much space there would be if there was like another person laying on top of you and like half a person on either side of you, maybe. Yeah. That's what they had to do to run the new gas line to the stove. And this guy had to like basically lay on his belly and like shimmy his way forward. And then somebody else like fed him the gas line up alongside of him here. And he like, hooked it up. And then he had to like crawl, back. It was not a pleasant job. And believe me, the price reflected that.
That's exactly right. If it's something that you wouldn't like to do, they're probably not going to like to do it either. Everybody likes a nice clean job and they can get in and out of quickly. So make sure that you have a good defined scope of work, a plan for the installation of, a location, and you can talk to your contractor about this if you're unsure about it.
Right.
But you should know the process of construction. You shouldn't be bringing guys in. Don't bring in your electrician or your HVAC guy and say, hey, can you install a new heating system in here? I just installed all new drywall. They're going to look at you like you have 3 heads, and you're going to end up doing a lot of work twice.
Yeah, so to catch everybody up who's maybe just catching or lost Josh as we were chasing multiple rabbit trails here, instead of using the crawl space associated with this property, Josh opened up the attic so that people can run all of their major electrical work through the attic, which is a much nicer space to work in than in the crawl space. It means he's got to open up some drywall that he wasn't planning on opening up, but opening up that drywall is then also going to free him up to get some better quotes and nicer, neater, cleaner, more accessible jobs. You know what I mean? Think about it, Josh. If somebody forgets to connect something properly and that happens, it's going to be a whole lot better to get access to that in the ceiling than it is in the
well, and that's exactly right. And Judah, I mean, you think about the cost of maybe 2 sheets of drywall here, you know, as compared to the additional time and hazard pay that you're going to have to pay if they got to crawl up. And actually, I got to show you the access because it'll make a heck of a lot more sense once we see.
Yeah, we only have about 4 minutes left, Josh. So let's.
Here's our access to the attic.
Right.
I mean, right. I can get one arm and my head in there, probably not both shoulders through at the same time.
Right.
So it's not an easy fit. So I mean, look, at the end of the day here, we're going to continue showing you these types of updates. We're going to continue revisiting this project as we go forward here, so you can kind of see, the project as it unfolds, and also get an idea of what you need to be looking at with your next rehab, ways that you can set up processes and maximize the time, effort,
and just come up with little breadcrumbs and little things to learn that you only learn by doing a whole bunch of these rehabs.
That's right.
Case in point, that that property right there where we were looking at that part of the property where we're looking at the key and that access. And it's funny, I was actually on Saturday or Sunday, I couldn't get out there on Friday or Saturday and the weather wasn't that great, so I had to go take a look at a project that I'm working on, and it's like a really bad fire damaged property over in York, a new project I have coming up. And I just kind of wanted to get in and get out. I had my kids with me and they were like, "Daddy, are you walking this property for your YouTube page? Is that what you're doing?" They were all concerned or interested. Steve Carney and a couple other people know that I have a YouTube channel where I've done like 15 or 20, walk the property videos, and I need to do more. But there's a knowledge base that only comes from walking a bunch of properties. And that's what Josh and I are trying to do. So Josh, it seems like it's a lot quieter there today on the job site than what it has been in days past. Did you give everybody the day off so we could shoot the show, or did you intentionally come during lunch, or what happened?
Well, yeah. So the guys are not working today. They were here all weekend long. And they had somewhat, listen, we all got to do our laundry and go shopping. So, I I don't like paying by the hour.
Right.
Let contractors do their own work. I'm not going to sit here and watch them as long as they hit their deadlines and hit the budgets. I don't care. But I've been working with, I'm going to give a shout out to this guy, Wendell Dove. And he's got a Facebook page on here. I think it's Dove Contracting or Dove Fencing or something like that. He does a lot of different things, but he's helped me out here a ton. And these guys have great communication. He's told him, actually it was Saturday, I said, "Listen, one of the biggest things that you bring to this job is a brain."
Nice.
He's making suggestions throughout the project to save me money, to save him time, because he knows what we're trying to accomplish on this thing. And a brief conversation, it goes a long way. So, if you're looking for a contractor, you're looking for landscaping demo work, give Wendell Dove a call. You probably have to do a search on Facebook, but he is out there, and it's great. Now, I got him from Central PA Real Estate Investors.
Nice. That's a great Facebook. That's a great Facebook group. I'm glad I'm the admin, one of the admins of that page, and so I'm glad that's working out great for you. And that's really what that page is there for, is to help people get access to contractors and service providers that they need, and also ask and answer questions. I also saw that somebody was asking for some hard money lending referrals this weekend, and you were tagged in that as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back on Thursday with a interview of the week, and Friday with our with a market update and what's going on with some market numbers. And ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being here. And Josh was in the field today, and I'm steering the ship. So appreciate everybody's patience as we work through some connectivity and clunkiness there. But we are going to be back again on Thursday and Friday this week. And thank you very much.